Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Now, the search continues this afternoon for another missing person in the Kern River. Now, Sergeant Zach Biddle says Tuesday a 30-year-old man went into the water about a half mile inside the mouth of the canyon and didn't resurface. Now, it's unclear if he fell in or if he was just going for a swim.
We know he was up here with a friend from the Los Angeles area. There was a Good Samaritan passerby who tried to help him out and followed the person in the river for a short time until he was lost.
Sergeant Biddle says the current is too dangerous for divers, so crews were standing on the river's edge using binoculars to try and find the man. He was not wearing a life jacket at that time. Crews are back out again today looking for him. Well, now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Kern Public Health announced another 162 COVID cases today and no new deaths. Our death toll stands at 98. Over 2,200 people are isolated at home. Also, 142 are being treated at local hospitals. Over 4,400 residents have recovered from the virus. Well, there have been mixed signals between the county and the state. Tuesday, the county of Kern tweeted that they will not be included on the state's monitoring list after all and will not need to issue any closures or modifications this weekend. However, the state said Monday we are on its watch list and would therefore need to shut down gyms, salons, and other indoor operations. Well, later in the day, we were off that list. But county officials can now confirm they are not expecting to issue any new closures this weekend. The county says they will tell us more at their briefing tomorrow. So why all this confusion? Well, the short answer is when Kern Public Health reports new cases each day, the figures often are not reflective of where those numbers actually stand right now. 17's Eitan Wallace explains.
The county releases new data every day, sharing the number of new COVID cases with the general public. But just how new is that data? Public Health Assistant Director Bryn Kerrigan says the figures are usually not representative of where we stand today.
That now we're experiencing some delays in receiving test results. The test results we're receiving today are typically from 5 to 7 days prior.
Supervisor Leticia Perez noted the delays could be taking place because of increased demand for testing, an increase believed to be making the entire reporting process slower.
Testing result lag is actually what's making it look like our average daily cases or our active cases are going down when in fact they are not.
Now, County Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop said Kern is not on the state's watch list as of last night, and he doesn't know when we might be on that list. Now, Kern was in violation of certain state requirements as of Sunday and Monday, but we weren't in violation of those same requirements on Tuesday. So the closure clock starts over. A county has to fail meeting certain metrics for 3 consecutive days to be put on that watch list. And then there's a 3-day grace period before sanctions or closures are imposed on non-essential businesses. Well, will the fair go on? That's a big question. We could have a decision regarding the fate of the Kern County Fair this year as soon as Monday. The fair is currently scheduled to run from September 23rd through October 4th. The Kern County Fair Board will discuss the future of the fair this year amid coronavirus concerns. That meeting starts at 5 o'clock Monday via Zoom. Now, to view that meeting, head to our website, KGET.com. Well, 2 restaurants are in trouble with the state for keeping their dining rooms open during Independence Day weekend. Takura Tampico in Delano and Juaritos y Mariscos in Arvin violated the governor's executive order by having dine-in services. That's according to the State Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control. The ABC says both restaurants were asked to close that weekend. While restaurants can stay open right now, indoor dining is off the table. Only patio seating, takeout, and delivery are allowed. The ABC did not say if any other punishments were given. Well, Walmart is joining the list of retailers that will require customers to wear a face mask in its store. Walmart and Sam's Club's customers will be required to put on a mask or face covering before shopping in their stores. The big box retailer announced the new policy today. and said it will take effect until July 20th. Walmart says about 65% of its stores and clubs are in areas where there's already some kind of government requirement for face coverings. The company is joining a growing list of retailers that require masks inside of their store. Now, one person is dead after a crash in South Bakersfield. That accident happened just before 6:30 p.m. yesterday at the intersection of South 8th Street and Hendricks Lane. That's just south of Wilson Road. Now, according to Bakersfield police, a car and a motorcycle collided. Officers performed CPR on the motorcyclist until firefighters arrived and took over. The man was taken to Kern Medical, where he was pronounced dead. The driver of the car stayed at the scene. BPD says it does not appear drugs or alcohol were factors in the crash. They're asking anyone with information to call 327-7111. And we now know more information regarding an officer-involved shooting in Bakersfield. Last month, the Kern County Sheriff's Office responded to the 300 block of Water Street. Now, that's near Columbus Road. According to officers, Jacob Morales was armed with a handgun, under the influence, and violating a restraining order. Morales led officers on a foot pursuit towards an apartment complex. According to KCSO, officers tried to get Morales to comply but wouldn't. KCSO says 2 deputies fired their guns, hitting Morales. He suffered non-life-threatening injuries. According to officers, he was in possession of a realistic replica firearm and a knife. KCSO says Morales was booked on suspicion of threatening with the intent to terrorize, stalking and resisting a peace officer, and exhibiting a replica firearm. The deputies involved have been placed on administrative leave during this investigation. And a California City woman who stabbed and killed her adult son has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. Cynthia Goldie pleaded no contest last month to killing her son in what she said was a suicide pact she had with her son and husband. According to court documents, Goldie called 911 and told dispatchers about the suicide pact, but claimed the knife she had wasn't sharp enough to kill herself. Police arrived to her home and found her 35-year-old son stabbed to death. Her husband, Shelton Goldie, was also dead. He was reportedly a hospice patient. Well, crime in Delano will be at the forefront of a virtual town hall meeting today. It's hosted by the city's police department. Chief Robert Navarez will speak along with other guests. Then it will be the public's turn to share their concerns about crime and other problems. The meeting starts at 5:30 tonight and will be held online. And in Delano this year, 8 people have been killed in shootings. Chief Navarez blames the violence on gangs. A pastor in Delano wants the families of crime victims to join him with photos of their loved ones for a rally at City Hall to call for an end to violence. It's happening Sunday night at 7. Well, today out there, we are seeing some warm temperatures. Let's send things back over to Kevin.
Well, we are going to try to keep things below 100 today. We're holding on to a temperature right now of 88 degrees, so below 90. We have a light north-northwest wind at 8 miles per hour right now, and we should be right around 97 this time of year, so we will be close to that. The record set back in 1930 when we had 114 degrees, and they can keep that. Here's a look at temperatures. We've got 80s for the most part into the valley, into the mountains. 79 at a Pine Mountain Club. Tehachapi are at 84, and into the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabella currently at 92. Satellite radar not showing much, but the one thing we are seeing is a wind out of the north, and that is going to help bring in a little haze today because we are still tracking some smoke from the fire up to the north, the mineral fire up near Coalinga. Today we're looking at 96 in Sacramento, Fresno at 100. Where we really find the heat is Vegas at 109, and down in Phoenix they're going to be right near 110 this afternoon. Let's talk about some national weather, and we are tracking a cluster of storms now making their way into parts of Illinois, and I want to show you these storms right now. And we are seeing some thunderstorms with them. And as we go throughout the day, these storms will continue to kind of lift up towards the north. So here's a look at the headlines with this. Strong thunderstorms are possible. We could see winds near 60 miles per hour and also hail about 1 inch. Some of the areas that we'll be watching, parts of Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, and also Illinois throughout the day. Here's a look at the temperatures for today. Seattle at 80, 91 in Boise to the east. We're going to be looking at Omaha, topping out at 80, and then up into the northeast, we've got Boston at 70, and then New York right near 79. Here's a look at your air quality for today. Going to be moderate, your AQI at 84, your pollen count at 5, and the UV index still quite high at 11. So make sure you've got the sunscreen all lathered up. As we take a look at the daytime highs, near 100 today, Bakersfield 99, along with McFarland and Delano, 97 out to the west for Taft. And then for the mountains, look for the winds just out of the southwest 5 to 10 today. 86 in Frazier Park. We're looking at 89 into Hatch Bay and then up into the Kern River Valley, right near 100, 98 for Lake Isabella. Where we really find this heat is going to be up in Ridgecrest. As you can see, 106. Mojave will be right near 98. Let's take a look at that extended forecast, and you can see here tomorrow, 101, and that continues into Friday. Saturday, Sunday, right near 103, and then a couple degree cool down from next Monday and Tuesday. For the mountains, 80s to lower 90s through the early part of next week. Overnight temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. And then for the Kern River Valley forecast, near 100 the next 7. Overnight temperatures into the 60s. And I know the weekend is going to be hot, right near 103. A lot of people want to cool down. And so just make sure you're doing it in a safe manner. If you're going to be by the pool, make sure you're watching the kids. And again, if you're going to head to the Kern River, do it with an experienced guide. We're already seeing some dangerous conditions, a lot of currents underneath the Kern River, just not safe to get into without somebody knowing what they're doing.
Yes, very important to remember, especially as this weather heats up. Thanks so much for that, Kevin. Yep. Taking a look at education now, a unanimous decision. The Bakersfield City School District Board finalized its plan to go back to school, deciding it's safest to return 100% virtually next month. The district will continue distance learning for the first quarter, then revisit the issue. Once it's safe to do so, it hopes to bring students back in cohorts, having one group attend school Mondays and Tuesdays and another group Thursdays and Fridays. Other school districts have also finalized plans, including Edison, Rosedale, Union, Lamont, and DeGiorgio. Bakersfield College and CSUB have decided they will hold the majority of their classes online. And while the school year is just around the corner, some districts have yet to make a decision. The Kern High School District will have a virtual board meeting at 2 p.m. today to discuss plans. Next Monday, the 20th Delano Union School District is set to meet, as well as Vineland School District. Well, the Trump administration has rescinded a rule that would have banned some international students from studying in the United States this fall. The measure would have required international students to transfer schools or leave the country if their colleges held classes entirely online. The directive could have impacted about 1 million international students. Harvard and MIT had the backing of more than 200 schools in their lawsuit against federal immigration authorities, which led to the change of course. The federal income tax deadline is here. It was, of course, postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic. If you are filing, you might want to do so online. There's a huge backlog of paper tax returns because so many IRS employees have been working from home. That means taxpayers who already filed a paper return may be waiting a while for any refunds. Also know that you can request an extension to October 15th, but still need to submit an extension form by today.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.